One of the things and tips that I give, and again, this is not personal financial advice, everybody's situation may be different, but one of the things that we often talk about is trying to minimize taxes, not just now, but for the rest of your life. A CPA, a tax preparer, an enrolled agent, EA, you might see this different places. What they are doing is helping you to look back at last year and prep taxes for last year and figure out taxes for how do we report what you did pay or what you need to pay in taxes. And what a tax planner, financial planner is going to do, and maybe a good CPA is going to do this as well, is look ahead and make recommendations. Here's what you can do to minimize your taxes in the future. And there are decisions that you're going to make when it comes to your benefits, when it comes to your income, when it comes to insurance, all these kinds of things, investments. What can I do right now to minimize my tax burden later? It may even hurt a little bit right now, but long term, this is going to be what's best for me. One of those things is going to be a Roth conversion. Now, why do you say Roth conversion? Well, number one, you have to have money to convert. Most residents I come across have a 401k or a 403b that they put a little bit of money into, maybe $2,000 to $5,000, that over the course of their residency, they set some aside. A lot of hospitals will auto enroll you. So you'll get 1% at least going in every year, which, when you're making 50,000 a year, that's $500 a year. You'll have at least two, maybe 3 or 4,000 in there over the course of 3-4 years. So what should you do with that money? Now, that doesn't seem like it'll be a lot now, but if we talk about the point of compound interest, which we've talked about before, and we can go into depth in that into another conversation, compound interest says that $3,000 or $4,000 could be 20,000, 30, 40, 50,000 someday with the right kind of compound interest and the right rate of return. So that being the case right now, because it's in your 401k, your 403b, you went through residency, you're now transitioned into practice. Okay, let's say it's October right now of your first fall in practice, and you've got this old 401k or 403b sitting at your old residency program, your old hospital. It's never been taxed. They took it out of your paycheck pre-tax. It's going to grow. It's not going to be taxed. But then when it will be taxed is when you go to retire. And if you're good and you had a good financial planner, you're still going to be in a high income bracket after you retire because of how much you've saved and invested and planned. That's great. But then when you go to pull that money out, you're going to have to pay taxes on it then, and you're going to hate it. So how do we fix that now without it hurting too much? And this is where we come up with the Roth conversion. You can take that 401k or that 403b, roll it over into an IRA, but make sure it goes into a Roth IRA. Now, the downside is, you've got to pay taxes on it now. But this year, with a half a year resident or fellow salary and a half a year an attending salary, you're going to make less this year than you'll ever make again in your entire life. So when would be the right time to make that kind of taxable transfer? There's no penalties, no cost other than just the taxes you're then going to have to pay on your tax returns. But now that money is in a tax-free investment in a Roth, and it will stay that way for the rest of your life. That plus the growth it's going to get. So I think that's an important one. And I would say that's an urgent one because that has to be done before the end of this year. So that's number one. That's kind of one quick tip that I'd say, hey, if I had a checklist of things to pass to a new attending to say, get this done before the end of the year, that's one of those things.